nothing left to say. How to get up, walk away. Know when to hold 'em, know when to fold. Know when to hold 'em, know when to fold. Cold sweat, blood in my eyes, thunder rolling through the skies. I can feel it in the air tonight. Say I won't, but you know I might. Ain't no storm and ain't no thief. Ain't got time and ain't got sleep. But I feel fine and I feel free. 'Cause I'm the last man standing in the street. Always something, always something. All I ain't got, but I ain't got no axe to grind. Know when to hold 'em, know when to fold. Know when to hold 'em, know when to fold. I've been tempted, I've been tried. Know you wanna test my pride. I suggest you go and move aside. Say I won't, but you know I might. Ain't no storm and ain't no thief. Ain't got time and ain't got sleep. But I feel fine and I feel free. 'Cause I'm the last man standing in the street. I'm the last man standing in the street. I'm the last man.
You're a monster.
I can see the truth. No, you don't have to lie to me. Don't fill your head with things and think you're free. I can smell the fear. I think you made it clear. Yeah, I could be rude, be in a mood. I could be rotten. I could be cool, mind like a fool, but never forgotten. Creeping in the dark, waiting for you. You won't like what you see. Yeah, I feel like a monster, and I'm just here to haunt you. I've become your nightmare, slipping in your dreams. I'm the definition of the worst kind of me. Yeah, I feel like a monster, and I'm just here to haunt you. I've become your nightmare, slipping in your dreams. I'm the definition of the worst kind of me. Yeah, I feel like a monster. 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 Yeah, I feel like you can hold me back. Yeah, I'm coming for you. I'm not heater on you. No, I'm just telling you the facts. Oh, these chains can keep me down. Yeah. I can be rude, be in a mood. I can be rotten. I can be cool, mind like a fool, but never forgotten. Creeping in the dark, waiting for you. Yeah, I feel like a monster, and I'm just here to haunt you. I've become your nightmare, slipping in your dreams. I'm the definition of the worst kind of me. Yeah, I feel like a monster, and I'm just here to haunt you. I've become your nightmare, slipping in your dreams. I'm the definition of the worst kind of me. Yeah, I feel like a...
You don't believe in monsters, do you?
Of course not.
I do.
See me change into something darker. Yeah, I feel like a monster.
gosh.
Do it all over again. Let's go.
Yo.
Oh man,
Folks,
we're terrible at
right
this,
off
folks.
the rip. All
Let's
right,
go again.
Get your swing on, folks. We got 4 roses ourselves. We got the small bottle today.
And we got a couple beers just in case this one gets a little spicy.
But all right, folks, welcome into the CBC Live Cornhole Podcast. I'm Dylan Ledbetter. This is Bill Lorman, man, and this is our first time. They're
Dude,
killing us.
We're terrible
the chat
at this.
is
all
killing
right?
us.
At least it's a little bit entertaining for all you folks at home and for us. We like to get in these spicy arguments and get going for it. But you know what? Sometimes we make a few mistakes here and there.
I think we're so fired up about what's going on tonight that we just jumped the gun on it. You know what I mean? We're like, let's go,
dude.
folks.
I got my phone ready for things. He's got his phone ready for. I mean, we're just ready to go.
I got notes written down. We got a lot of stuff to talk about here.
Yeah,
right?
so
There's
let's
Jerry
get into
Stallions,
it.
Bill in the chat. What
Jerry,
up, folks?
what up, big dog? Good
What
to
up,
see you.
Cody?
Cody
What up,
Brewer,
Tommy?
Tommy Morgan, Eric Hoppigens, Ro
Let's
Pena.
go.
Let's go. I saw Zach Rush in there earlier. Events flyer. We're gonna roll into this pretty quick here, folks. This is what I wanted to pull up my phone for. I'm just showing the pre-register right now. We're at 41 right now.
Let's go.
65 cap for this. This is the Clarksville Major pre-party. Now, I don't want to just say, hey, ours is the only one going on in town, this and that. There are a couple going on. I know Miggy's got one at the American Legion. His is capped at 50. Ours is at 65. It's almost there, folks. If you want to get a slot in this tournament, freaking register. Okay, 6 o'clock sign up. 6:30, I think they're going to do a knockout tournament. If you guys have never done knockout, ton of fun. You just slide bags in. If you miss yours and the person behind you gets theirs in, you're out of the freaking tournament. I mean, that's what it is. It's $5 per person to do something like that, I think is what we're going with. And then 7 o'clock, straight blind draw starting. I just wanted to talk about some of the names in here. This is looking absolutely insane. I probably should not be signed up for this tournament whatsoever. And I may drop out if it gets a little too crazy, but I will be there 100%. I either want to team up. I've been thinking about this all day. Who I want to draw in this blind draw. Amari Scott, I would love to team up with you just because you throw the same bags that I do, dude, and I think it'd be absolutely wonderful. Brock Beasley, 100%. Let's go. Dalton Sheehy, I'd love to get you. Greg Scott, John Scott, want both you guys. Ice Queen Charity Jackson is in there. Definitely want to play with her. Mason Higgins. Let's see here. Robert Booker, I'd love to play with you, dude. Bryce, I can play with you anytime I want.
Signing up right now,
people are signing up right now. We're at 45.
Folks.
Folks. And Davy Jones. Let's go. I'd love to play with you.
We've got 19 spots left in this thing. Anybody can play in the blind draw. Justin Duke, you got to pre-register. Get in there, folks. We've got a
Ashley
ton of
Irvin,
things
Craig
going on.
Irvin. Craig, if I draw you on this
go.
blind draw, dude, this is my chance, right? This is my chance to play with some of these top pros and some of my buddies. I know. Oh, Hoppy. Hoppy's in here too. Hoppy, I want to play with you too, man.
Folks, I can't wait for you guys to draw Bill as a partner and watch him throw a 6-7 across from you.
Oh, dude, I'm going to be so nervous. Like, whoever I draw, I'll be so freaking nervous that it's not going to work, man. It's not going to work. The venue, let's talk about that real quick. There is going to be 6 sets of boards. Some of them are in lanes where, people may complain about because you can't step out and stuff like that.
Right.
But there is definitely one traffic area that everybody can kind of flow in. I would just personally ask, if you're not in a game, let's freaking hang out at the bar.
Yeah, let's hang
the
out.
bar is in its separate room and stuff. We can hang out there. Once we get called up to a court, we'll go to the court. That way, the traffic flow and everything will be absolutely perfect. Zach Rush, if you were there, I'd love to play with you too, brother.
Yeah, and we got a couple weeks to pump this thing up, folks, but we wanted to let y'all know since the pre-registers were coming in hot, and with that as well, folks, if you haven't signed up for the Clarksville Major yet and got your tickets for that, I would get them because that thing's going to be capped out on, I think, 250 players for singles, give or take some. But that thing's going to sell out.
100%.
So make sure you get your tickets for the Clarksville Major, then come join us for the freaking pre-party. Let's go.
Hell yeah. And if this one fills up, folks, still come drink at the bar or whatever. But if it fills up, we also have Miggy boards running one at the American Legion. I think they got 4 or 5 sets of boards that they can get in there. And they have a nice bar area, food, everything. We got food and everything also. And then there's an CBV.
I thought there was like a duck pin bowling situation
duck
or
pin
something
bowling.
like that.
So,
yeah.
I'm in a cornhole. I'm not going to go duck pin bowling. Although, cool place. We could be, if I get out of the blind draw early, maybe I will go down there and say what's up to those guys. All right. We're done with that. Let's get to the winner circle.
All right, folks. These are all the people who have won with CBC bags in the past week. Let's get them rolling, Bill. What do we got?
Okay, that's Andy Anderson, right?
Andy Anderson, swagged
that's
out
our boy right
in
there.
the hoodie. Let's go.
In the hoodie, takes his first place. Let's go. We're gonna go through these pretty quick here, folks. Pretty quick. I think that's Scotty Ball. I gotta make this a little bit bigger, folks.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
Scotty Ball.
Let's go.
Throwing the Impacts, Predators, or Phoenixes. You never know what he's got. One of them.
You can count on him weekly to be here once or twice.
Yeah,
I mean, Scotty Ball
guaranteed.
just wins. He's awesome.
Gibby.
Gibby.
Yep, Brian
yeah,
Gibson,
let's
the
go.
man. New bag rep. Let's go, Gibby Gorilla Boards.
I
Go
believe
get
they
yourself
play
some.
up in Illinois.
Yeah,
I
Illinois
believe that's where
is
they
correct.
play.
Yes, sir.
So I got a funny story. I got a buddy from the Army from Carmi, Illinois.
They
He
play
ordered a
cornhole
set
there.
of bags. So Gibby ordered a custom set for one of his buddies up there, and I asked my other Army buddy, "Hey, do you know this guy?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I know him, but his brother's one of my good friends." I was like,
that's
"Really, dude?
crazy.
Let's go. We're everywhere."
That's awesome.
So Austin Bickford taking
Bickford
this
in
one.
the jersey. Let's go.
Second place. Let's go.
Dalton Sheehy also in the jersey. Looking good. Let's go.
All right, next one here, Zach Rush. He made it.
Zach Rush. He's got
his
the
custom Dead Reckons,
yeah,
man.
let's go,
I
Rush.
talked to him on the phone. He said he'd been throwing those. He said he's absolutely loving them. I saw him doing N4 airmail the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Setup N4
We should have
airmail.
thrown that in here. Maybe
All right.
next week, folks.
Yeah, next week, definitely. Got Dalton Sheehy again, taking second place. I think that was a
Sheehy's
blind
in
draw.
here every week, too.
I know. He makes it.
If we do
a
it,
lot.
he's in here.
He makes it.
Guaranteed.
He's a Florida guy.
Big Florida guy.
Might be going to
Florida,
Dalton,
like,
Georgia.
yeah.
He owns the place. Got
Dano
and Lil Chris.
Lil Chris, let's go.
Yep, throwing the carbon.
Throwing the CBC Carbons, bestsellers.
Last one, Garrison McBride.
Our guy.
Throwing his
Garrison's
old.
His hair is getting long.
Old Dead Reckons. That's one of the first versions of it. It has
Yeah.
a little bit different feel than everything else, I think, because,
Yeah.
we go through
Knoxville
feel and stuff
last
like that.
year.
Yeah, freaking awesome.
All right, folks, congratulations to all those people. If you throw CBC bags, you make a podium. Send the pictures in. Send them to me. Send them to Bill. Send them to the CBC page. Tag us. We'll get you on the winner's circle.
Yep, definitely. Hey, we got Thomas Locke in here. Says, I'm going to throw bags at the pregame party. Oh, man, if you don't show up just for Thomas, something's wrong.
Tommy. That's
wrong.
Walmart Morgan Wallen right there, folks. That's wish.com Wallen. Come on.
What?
That's what they were calling him, man.
Is
that
it?
wasn't me.
I love it.
Hey, that's somebody else made that up.
We need to
all
put
right?
Tommy's picture on here when we talk about
next to
week.
Morgan Wallen. I mean,
Next
we're
week.
talking about the mullet Morgan Wallen, folks, not the newer, like City Boy Wallen. We're talking about Wish.com Redneck Wallen.
Tommy, I'm just going to take a little sip for you. He's out with strep this week. I talked to him on the phone.
Tommy boy, need some whiskey.
Sorry, big dog. Yeah, whiskey, it'll clear it out. You'll be good. All right, point chart here. We're going to get into our picks from last week, talk about how we did, and then move on to this week.
Yes, sir. So CBC Family Pix, folks. It is me versus Bill versus Philip Barnett. Philip Barnett, the ninja. He does them for the ACO. He's been doing them for years. One of the best. He gets first picks. All right, folks, just so you know, he gets all the preferences. Me and Bill, we follow a pretty set amount of rules.
What he's saying is it's tough to beat Phil because we don't try to match up with Phil. We actually have
Right.
rules not to match up with
and
Phil.
we can't
on the
pick the
picks.
same player twice, and
Yep.
there's a lot of things, folks. We got some serious morals and ethics around the family picks. Philip, he's going for whoever's going to win based on pure statistics and analytics
Yep.
in the mind of the ninja.
He is the king picking.
He's great.
We're going to say
Fantastic.
he's been doing
Yep.
this for years. This is our second year, right?
Second year.
Second
Yep.
year doing it. About a
One
year and a half.
Yeah, we're almost at a year exactly right now. Yeah. But how that works, folks, we pick a player for each division we think is going to win. They get 10 points for first, second place for 9, third, or 8 points for third, 7 for fourth, 5 for fifth, 3 for seventh, 1 for ninth. No participation trophies here in CBC. Got to take a top 10 if you want any points on the family picks.
Yes, sir.
Let's go. So last week, folks, Beloit.
Nate
Oh, boy.
Allen, it's good to freaking see. I got to call. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
man. He's saying, how are we? Dude, we're
Dude,
doing freaking phenomenal.
the
I can't
pre-party's
wait to
gonna
see you
pop
at the
off.
pre-party and the Clarksville Major, although I'm going to be streaming the entire time, so I won't be able to play. All right, picks. Let's go. This is Beloit. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure how you say it either. If
think
somebody
it's
is from
Beloit.
Wisconsin, come into the chat and let us know how to say it.
Okay.
I was trying to pull up all the things earlier, but Scorholio was not being cooperative. Look at it. It's just not being cooperative.
So Deb Smith is at a, what is it, wrestling match or something like that?
Yeah,
that
I
she's
think her
watching?
son or grandson, at a wrestling match, but she might be listening in.
I'm going to trust that she has earbuds in right now listening to us and say, Deb, You got me 2 points. Don't be mad at that. You're all right. Let's go.
She only got you 1 point.
No, what are you talking about? Co-ed. Deb Smith,
gosh.
Matt Gammon. Let's go. I
That's
got
rough.
2 points from Deb. Thank you,
rough.
Deb.
Come on, Deb. You're better
I know,
than that.
Deb. You
No,
are
love
way
Deb.
better than that. Although you got me 2 points. I'm not mad at you.
All right, Deb takes 9th place. Bill's pick. Maggie Geiger. Me and Phil took Maggie. Machine Gun Geiger. She takes 2nd place. What is crazy here is she got double dipped by McKenna Ballou. And McKenna Ballou was on fire.
You've
this
been talking
weekend.
about McKenna Ballou for a freaking year in here
I have,
about how
yeah.
she smoked you and she's got a knuckle
Yeah.
bag and this and that, rolls over everything, just
Yeah.
great thrower. Have not seen her win, but bam, she just did it. Dude. Shut me up.
She is a beast, man. So she took 1st, Maggie 2nd, Heather Ellis 3rd, Tiffany Sparks 4th, Kennedy Meineke and Josephina Ernsberger tie for 5th in women's. But McKenna, we'll talk about her more in a second.
Okay.
Moving into seniors, Bill drops the ball here again.
Gary, I'm not picking you for a long time. That's all I'm saying. That's all. I thought you were at least a guaranteed top 5, Gary. Fergie, I love you. I love your dances. I love everything about you, dude. But you're better than that. Let's go, Gary.
Yeah.
Next time I
Fergie.
pick you, dude, you better get a number 1.
He must have been fired up, man. He must have been hitting the swing oil early on Friday. I'm not sure. I took Wayne Rao. Wayne told me in Owensboro that when I pick him, he does well. When you pick him, he does absolutely terrible.
Wayne actually told me not to pick him, and he thanked me for not picking him in Owensboro.
Yeah. I picked him here. He takes a 7th place. It's 3 points, so still more than Deb. But Wayne, you're also better than that. But I want to give a huge
And more than
shout
Gary.
out. Yeah, and more than Gary. I want to give a huge shout out in the seniors bracket. Terry T-Bone Dawson back on the rise.
Yep, he
gets
is.
the win at the Beloit Major in seniors division, man. T-Bone is an absolute beast. He
I haven't
smoked
seen him
me.
up there in any of the majors, and then, dude, he just, like, I see his name on there, I'm like, man, I'd love to pick T-Bone. I know he's a phenomenal pitcher. We'll say pitcher instead of thrower, whatever it may be. But then, man, he's on the radar now. I'm going to be watching out for Terry T-Bone Dawson. I may be picking him.
Yeah, 2nd place, Bruce Lalonde. 3rd place, Steve Heath. 4th place, Kevin Milam. 5th place, one of our favorites, Bob Howe.
Yep.
And Ricky Singleton as well. I'm sure Ricky's here in the chat. If he's not, get in here, Ricky. Where's Bob at? What's going on, folks? All right, next is juniors. Yeah, what are you doing?
I'm looking
You're
at the
clicking and
YouTubes
clicking.
also.
You're clicking and clacking over here, man. I can't do it. All right, juniors. We had a surprise player come into the building in juniors. Somebody signed up late, Bill. Who was it? Won the whole thing.
Lane Cruz. I would have picked Lane Cruz. I
folks.
would have picked Lane Cruz instantly if I saw Lane Cruz signed up. I even called Dylan and said, dude, he wasn't in the roll call. Ridiculous. I need the inside information. Lane, if you watch this later, you need to send me a text, send me a message, not to Dylan, but to me that you're going to be there, and I will pick you, dude. Let's go.
Stacy says sound. Jacob Coleman says working for me. Try turning your volume up. Come
Jacob,
on, Stacy.
that is wise advice. Wise advice.
Come
That's
on,
exactly
SV.
what it is.
Get it going. All right, so juniors, Lane Cruz ran away with this thing, man. Undefeated through a 9.45 in 62 rounds, 30% four-bag percentage. I mean, kid's throwing absolute gas.
Yeah, he is.
Shout out B3. He's throwing B3. I know that.
Yep.
Give them a light plug. 2nd place, Carter Guy, which was Bill and Phil's pick. 3rd place, Wiley Chambers. This kid, I saw him on a live stream, Bill. He threw in cowboy boots and a cowboy hat all freaking weekend.
Did he really?
Yeah, I swear.
That's crazy. Where's Heather guy at? Where are all these people at? I
don't know.
that they, after Carter did so well and we picked Carter, they should be here. They should be here. Check in if you get in here, okay?
Yeah. Jackson Dunn takes 4th. Grant Guy takes 5th. And Adam Alessandro, my pick, also takes 5th. So congratulations to those kids right there. Braxton Gammon takes a 9th. Braxton.
Dude, Braxton's awesome.
He is awesome.
I did watch him that weekend too. I saw the live stream. Todd or Matt, one of those guys were actually streaming it. Man, it was great to see him throw. I was cheering him on and everything. And
Did he hit a TikTok dance?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
no, it's a
come on,
Fortnite dance.
Braxton,
It's a
come on.
Fortnite
Oh,
dance.
my bad,
It's definitely
my bad.
Fortnite dance. Not TikTok. Yeah. That's what the kiddies are on these days.
Yeah, Lane got Jack Harcrow's spot because Jack, his flight, he's like, I'm not going because of the weather.
Yeah.
Jack was going to go to Beloit and then backed out. Next thing you know,
Beloit.
Lane, is it Beloit? Did we confirm that?
I believe
I
it's
like
Beloit.
saying Beloit.
Beloit. Yeah, I mean, you sound like one of those guys who's like, it's not Target, it's Target.
Oh,
You know what I mean? I like that's
Yeah.
yeah. That's what
I
what it
like
sounds
that. Yeah. Like
Tarjay.
you ever eat almonds?
Yeah, no, I don't. No, I don't know about. I don't know if that's on the same level as Tarjay.
Yeah, you
but
see
you
a
gotta
wild
make it
raccoon?
sound like it's a.
Or a nice squirrel?
Have you had any vitamins?
Yeah, exactly.
Have you seen the crevasse?
Bingo. See, you figured it out, croissant.
Yeah. Aluminium. That's the one that gets me.
Come on.
That's the one that gets me.
Aluminum. All right, co-ed folks. Maggie and Wayne take it down. Those are my people right there. Also, Philip's pick. I think Philip knew he was in my head with I was going Maggie and Wayne heavy in Beloit.
Yeah.
They're from there. They say things like, "You want to talk about it?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Or wash. You know what I mean?
They're
They say
from there.
those type of things. So I like to have conversations with them because I'm just an old Northern California kid living in Tennessee now. So you hear something like that, you know they're foreign. You know what I mean? And they do something good. You don't know what it is.
They're Canucks, right? I mean, well, they're not really, but if you live that close to the border, right, and you have that type of accent,
they're not as nice as
kinda one and the
Canadians, though. They have a little bit of spice to them, both
All right.
Maggie and
Well,
Wayne.
yeah. Wayne came up to me and said, "Thank you for not picking me." I mean, that's kind of mean, right? That's kind of mean. Excuse me. Jacob.
Wash the shower sauce. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Oh, Worcestershire sauce.
Oh,
Bingo. Nice.
There you go. I like it.
Nice.
Wash the shower.
Bone apple teeth.
I love it.
All right. We got second place, McKenna Ballou, Mackenzie Cobb. I mean, I'm telling you, McKenna Ballou had a weekend.
Yeah.
Todd and
Yeah, she did.
Josephina, third, Ernsbergers. Fourth, Charlie Van Arstel and Stephanie Shea. I have no freaking idea who those people are, but they threw good. Fifth place tied, Devin Weissman, Erica Wiseman, and Steve Smith, Kathy Harrison. Bill, your pick, Deborah and Matt. Ninth place.
Got me another point, Deb. I trust you are listening with your earbud. I know you're listening with your freaking earbud, Deb. You could do better, especially with Matt Gammon. You guys will just chalk this one up as you couldn't decide on the fastest bags in the world, so you probably had to throw a little bit slower, and it wasn't your thing.
Nate, never say that again.
Yeah,
don't type
Nate,
that in this chat.
Nate, that might be like a Dover deal.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Bend over.
I'm just joking.
All right, folks, moving into doubles. Bill had a killer pick here in doubles.
Let's go.
Talk about your pick, Bill.
Drew Waking, Tom Gustafson. Saw him in the freaking roll call. Everybody else going for TJ Miller, Steve Smith. We got a little, we got some backdoor information that maybe some of those guys were off and some of them weren't. And I know Tom Gustafson was just coming off of a huge weekend in Owensboro, right? And Drew is one of the most consistent players ever. So I had to go with those guys, man.
Yeah, no, it's a great pick, and Drew and Tom do take it down. TJ and Steve, not the best weekend for them as they take 17th, which is
very surprising.
Yeah, uncharacteristic of those two.
Yeah.
But I did have inside information that somebody was in a slump. I decided to disregard this information and go with my gut. Never again, folks. We're just
never
gonna have
again.
to-
You're taking.
I got to listen to my sources, man.
So
I have to.
Your source, which we'd never reveal our sources for it, but we've had other sources like Chris Norris that has hopped in here and said Mark Smothers take him, and we didn't do it. We need to start listening to the people.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
Chat knows best. Lane Cruz and Chris Hahn take second. Bob Heil, Charlie Case third, which I almost picked them. They were on my radar. Bob Heil and Charlie Case. Maggie and Wayne take fourth. Jason Wolf, Dan DeClue, and Aaron Lambert and Jimmy Naylor tie for fifth in doubles for Beloit. All right.
Beloit. Okay, singles in Beloit.
All right, moving into singles. Yep.
Drew Waking
Bill
takes
killed
first
it.
place. I picked Drew. I'm absolutely killing it, doubles and singles. And folks, let's be honest. Doubles and singles, if you can pick it in those two, you are the top dog.
Don't.
Okay, so I got it. This is one that the Hertz weren't at, so Phil couldn't just pick the Hertz and be super safe. And Phil, that's no knock on you. They win, and nobody has proven you wrong. But what I'm saying, the Hertz weren't there, and I was right both times. Let's go.
Yeah, good win for Drew Waking there. And he got the overall win, folks. 2 brackets up there in Beloit. Drew wins one. Shout out Aaron Lambert wins the other one. Aaron Lambert really tearing it up this season. If I was to think of a player who's hot, who's not, Aaron Lambert is hot this season.
Aaron Lambert is very hot
and
this
he is
season,
really
yes.
proving himself. I had TJ Miller. TJ Miller, I mean, kind of followed suit with doubles. You know what I mean? Not his best outing.
Bad weekend.
I look
right?
for him to have a strong back half here in the season. I really do. And I'm not talking about doing squats. I'm talking about throwing bags in the hole.
I like it.
Tom Gustafson, Phil's pick, takes a fourth in his bracket.
Solid.
Great showing, great amount of points right there for Tommy G. He's really coming on strong here lately.
Kevin Milam and Kennedy.
Kennedy Meineke, they don't make the main bracket.
Didn't make the main bracket.
Passion
We will
Picks
move on now.
didn't make it
Passion
happen.
Picks didn't do so hot. Knoxville, let's go.
All right, Knoxville. Here we go, folks.
Name's already in there because we're trying to get down to that Family Feud. We know that there are people in here that want to watch that Family Feud. We're going to get there in just a moment. We got to give these pros and these absolute top players the respect
Folks,
that they need.
Following these picks, we will give you the travel hacks for Medford, Oregon, which I'm telling you, folks, this week you're going to want to watch because they are extra questionable. Questionable.
They are. They really are.
And then we are going to get
I don't know
into
what
our
you were
topic.
thinking, but
and then we're going to get into our topic for the night, folks, and we'll be able to, the chat will get interactive, and it might get a little spicy. We got some people that have been pre-gaming for the podcast. The podcast pre-game. All right, so Knoxville, absolutely loaded. There's roughly 360 singles players. I think the women's bracket's holding somewhere around 40-something women.
Right.
It's stacked. Phillip takes Martina. Martina proved herself. Took down the Owensboro Major.
I believe there's right around 400 people, correct?
I think it's really close. Yeah, 360
400
something.
for singles. We
Yeah.
usually judge this stuff off singles or doubles sometimes. Right around, I believe there's about 400, maybe just below that.
Yeah.
But by the
Stacked
day
major.
of, it may be 400.
Absolutely stacked. And I'm going with McKenna Ballou. I think she's going to stay hot because it wasn't just like she threw good in women's in Beloit or Beloit, whatever we're calling it. But she also took second in her bracket in Beloit as well, and second in co-ed. I mean, so McKenna's threw good all weekend long.
So if we had power rankings, she's climbing right now.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, she's climbing, and when you're on that heater, you're going to try to ride the heater.
Yeah.
And that's what you're doing. That's your pick there.
And I think she absolutely can.
I'm one of those that's picking, not a blunder. What would this be called? What do we call this? Somebody that's been hot and at this exact moment is not hot. Because Josie, for me, in the last major that she was at, I think I got 1 point. I mean, we're going to have to go back and look at that.
You're right.
But Josie did not do so hot in women's. But she is so tried and true in the past that I got to pick her. I mean, she's so good. It's crazy.
I think Josie's going to come on strong this back half as well. We saw her really finish up her season at Worlds last year. She is the current queen of Cornhole. She makes good singles runs. She's a great player, great person on and off the boards. I look for her to have a big weekend here in Knoxville. I really do.
I'd say last time she played, it was a little bit cold, but now I still got to pick her because she's been on the radar. She's been so consistent. Everybody's allowed a one-off. You know what I mean? And I think that's what that was. Yeah. That's why I got to pick her. And a couple more
women I want to talk about that are in this field. Josephina Ernsberger coming off a big weekend in Beloit.
Yep, huge.
Yep, and then also Kim Dice. Kim Dice always causing problems for people. Tammy Williams also in this field. She's won a major this year. So this is a stacked women's field. Honestly, all the fields we went through are absolutely stacked for Knoxville. But look out for these three. We got Josie, McKenna, and Martina. Let's go, folks.
Yep. And I just want to remind everybody, when we were in Knoxville last year, this is our first time we got the Kim Dice third bag block, right? That was in Knoxville. We also had Austin Thomason out there where he was topless. Right, the hat got a little crazy. This is where people broke the internet. We had so many watching the stream out there. This is a big one for us, and we want to do better than we did last year, folks. So please, if you are not showing up, tune into that. We'll be streaming.
Yeah, last year we had, roughly 400 live viewers on Facebook. Took down the internet at the Knoxville Convention Center. Thomas hopped on the bike, hooked up the internet to the bicycle, and started pedaling to get us back going, man. It was awesome.
It was awesome.
That's a true story, folks.
It is. I mean, maybe a little bit of an exaggeration, but it was true story.
Yeah.
True story. It all happened.
The internet went down. All right.
Seniors.
Seniors. Absolutely stacked as well, man. I mean, Johnny Thomas, Daryl Macon, Mark Smothers, Mick Hoaxang. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, there are bangers in here. And, I mean, I'm taking Daryl Macon. I like Daryl. He's awesome.
I got Smothers. I got Mark Smothers. You know, again, Chris Norris is saying that he found his bag. He's comfortable. He's good to go. We watched him. We streamed him a couple times. Yeah. Didn't do so hot in Owensboro as we thought he would, although I saw him slow down a little bit compared to what he used to be, and I love it.
No, so, Smothers looks really good.
Super happy about it.
He's found a great bag. He's putting a lot of bags in the hole. Won seniors in the biggest tournament of the year in Owensboro just a couple weeks ago. Yeah. I think that's a great pick. Phillip goes with the tried and true Johnny Thomas. And if we talk about power rankings or who's hot, who's not right now, Johnny Thomas is easily the number one power ranked senior for the first 3-4 months of
Right,
the season.
right.
Now we haven't seen him win one in a
Cooling
couple
off
months.
a little bit.
Since Tupelo,
Yep.
he gets double dipped by Daryl Macon. Hasn't won a seniors major since then.
Yep.
So, is this Johnny's weekend to come back? I think it's very possible. Johnny's a great player, has a great time.
He did so much at the beginning of the season. Maybe he took a little break. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe he's trying to let other people win a little bit.
Yeah, and Daryl Macon's his partner, man, and them playing in doubles as well. If you don't know who they are and you step to the board and see a couple of old folks, you better buckle up. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
That's very
man.
true. Daryl Macon's throw is very unique.
Yeah. All right, Bill. Juniors.
I got the Beaver.
Stacked. Beaver, man.
I got the Beaver,
Dude,
man.
the Beaver sucks, dude.
So, folks, I want to say this first, and I want to say it the loudest, okay? I got Devin Thompson unless
No.
Brock Beasley shows up, and then Brock Beasley is my pick. I'm saying it right now. It's on there. Let's
You're
go.
going to make the Beaver mad, dude. There is a Beaver-Beasley rivalry now.
There is.
I'm in a group chat. They talk about it sometimes. But I'm telling you right now, they're big Beaver fans in this group chat that I'm in. I like the Beaver.
I'm a big Beaver
Brock,
fan.
Yeah. I
love
think most
Beaver.
of us love some Beaver. And if Brock shows up on time, he's going to make this field even harder than it is. But I'm talking about, we got Lane Cruz in here. That's my pick. Who's coming off a heater in Beloit.
Yep.
We got Isaac Hurt, who just won Owensboro overall. We've got Sammy Van Sickle, who won his bracket.
Sammy
in
is one of those
Owensboro.
guys that's on the radar now. He's had two great, Owensboro. Where else was he? I saw something about him the other day.
Not sure.
I'm not sure what it was. I saw something about him the other day, but Sammy Van Sickle is turning it on for this part of the season.
Yeah, Bill, you need a topper guy?
Yeah, I need a little bit of a topper. I'll
Okay.
keep going. So that's our juniors picks. We're gonna move on to co-ed. And last week I told, maybe it was last week, maybe it was the week before, but I told Crashly I am picking them. They did so well in Owensboro, won their bracket, played against Maggie and Wayne. Those are the only team that they lost to, correct?
Yeah.
I mean
Yep.
that was it. So I got Craig and Ashley, Team Crashly. Let's go.
Yeah, Craig and Ashley, man, have been throwing really good, and they're a little bit of an underrated co-ed team. I'm not really sure why. If you were to ask in 2021, right, you would say easily they're one of the best.
Yep.
And then maybe there's a year in between there where they kind of slipped and were taking more somewhere between 3rd and 5th, and now we're seeing them back on the top again.
Yep.
That was their second bracket win, I know for sure this season. Look for them to have another one this weekend.
Yep.
Philip taking Martina and Russell Tabers, man, and that's a great pick. That could be one of the
Phenomenal
best
pick.
co-ed teams in the world right there. Definitely a top 5. Could easily win this major. I'm taking Josephina and Todd. I think they always have a great showing, almost always a top 3. I'm looking for them
Josephina
to win
coming
one.
off a heater in Beloit.
Yeah.
Beloit.
Beloit.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah. So co-ed should be fun as well. Absolutely stacked in co-ed. One team, Bill, a surprise team. Justine Smith, Bryce Jefferson. Haven't played together, but they're throwing together. So that could be exciting stuff.
But I haven't even seen that team. I didn't even see it on the roll call. It's there. It's there. We're good.
And Kim and Chad. Gotta talk about Kim and Chad.
Yep.
Kim and Chad always make a run.
Yep.
They've been a couple months dry from winning a co-ed championship at a major.
They
So
have,
I
yeah,
look
yeah.
for them to also get back into that group of winning, get some purple jerseys
I'm
rolling.
calling it right now to everybody. I'm calling it right now to everybody. In Europe, I'm picking Chad and Kim for co-ed.
I'm taking Craig and Ashley. Bingo.
Are they going?
Yeah.
No, I'm just joking.
pissed.
All right.
I'm just... I want to address, Chad Yates said Beasley's a top 5 overall player. Off the cuff, 3 bracket wins. You have Caleb in there. You have Isaac. You have Tyler Amos. Brock Beasley. Who else we thinking here? Brandon
Earls.
Brandon Earls.
Yeah, we're okay. So, folks, we've been talking about this a lot.
Drop the ball.
Drop the ball. I didn't know.
Zach, here.
I didn't know.
This is for you, buddy. Miller Lights.
What do I gotta do that too? Hold
If
on.
you'd like to.
Got an empty.
How many
over there.
empties do you
Cheers.
have? Jesus. Okay. I don't want to get too into the power rankings, folks, because I'll rabbit hole that thing super hard.
Let's just talk about this just for a half of a second.
Okay. All right.
All I want to say is we're coming up with a lot of new segments. Power rankings may be one of them.
Yeah.
We're going to put a poll on Facebook maybe in the next 2 weeks, somewhere around about 2 weeks, for maybe 4 different segments, and we'd like you guys to vote on which segment. I think Power Rankings is going to be one of the top.
Yeah.
And we're probably going to do that as a monthly segment, not a weekly, because we'd like to see a couple majors, see kind of people change, who got hot, who didn't get hot, who kind of, you know what I mean? And that way we can restructure it every time we do
folks,
it.
we're building a committee for the Power Rankings. It consists of myself and Bill Lorman. Okay, folks, that's the whole committee. Don't even try. All right, that's it. Me and Bill are the committee of Power Ranks.
Yes, yeah, we are the committee. It's going to be the CBC Power Ranks, and we are going to
we are the
we're going to agree
the judge,
on the Power
the
Ranks,
persecutor, and the executioner. What are we?
And
we're
y'all can
the
fight
things.
with us in the chat if you want, and it's actually good to fight with us in the chat if you want. Although what we put on there is set in stone. That is the power rank.
Law.
That is it's law. There is state law for Tennessee, number 1. But we may take it to the Supreme Court to make it federal law.
I'd like it to be federal, folks. Just know that emails are going out. All right, doubles, Bill. I'm sorry. Doubles. I love my pick for doubles here. Tyler and Craig, man. Tyler and Craig are going to get it done this week. And I've got a great feeling about them. Watching Tyler play a lot last week and seeing Craig on center court. Craig hitting some nasty rolls and cuts now. He's really figured out the carpet bag, and he's an evolved player. And I think it's still catching people by surprise. People are still blocking Craig, thinking that he might throw a slick side and kick off to the left. Craig goes, nope, here's a roll bag for you. You know what I mean?
There is too sticky for Craig, though.
Oh, if the boards slow down?
I have seen it in the past. He is playing a lot slower bag, which I absolutely love that he's doing that, because him and I are going to draw each other in the blind draw. Although there is too sticky for Craig, what does he do? He flips it over to this slick side and he just runs them in the middle and he hits them. So it's not that big of a deal when they get there. But there is too sticky for him. I do want to put that out there.
I just hope people stop thinking that he can't do things with the carpet bags anymore, because we saw it on center court in Owensboro.
Yep.
He's got it down. He's got it dialed in. So, folks, this is a help for everybody else, I guess. If you're playing Craig, he can play with these carpet bags, folks. This is no longer I'm getting used to him. This is no longer a training process. He's locked in. I'm just going to put that out there. Philip takes the hurts. It's hard to argue against them. They played in 6 or 7 majors. They've won all of them. They're ridiculous.
Yeah, they're insane. Let's talk about my pick, which I've named Brush and Rock.
Okay.
Brush and Rock, right?
It could just be Brush.
It could be Brush or it could be Rock.
Okay.
Right? That's what it is. Anyway, this team has never teamed up together. I don't think I've ever seen them play together whatsoever. They have started throwing bags similar to each other. Rush has been throwing Dead Reckons and Elixirs. He said his Elixirs got a little too floppy for his personal taste on it.
Yeah.
Because he likes to roll, he likes to cut and do stuff now. Brock, I think Brock would throw Dead Reckons as good, if not better, than he's throwing the Elixirs right now, because it's got that 7 fast side.
Yeah.
So I think they could probably agree to throw either Dead Reckons or Elixirs and be just fine. I think that's a power team. I like love that team together right now, and I think they're going to do absolutely phenomenal. I'm hoping for a first place from those guys.
I like it. I like that team a lot. Brock Beasley, Zach Rush. Mark Smothers in the chat. Mark, Bill picked you for seniors. I was going to pick you if he didn't. I'm telling you right now, Mark, you're on a heater. Barger and Bear Paws.
Mark Smothers, I got
Chad,
you.
Bear Paws not coming to Knoxville. He'll be in Clarksville. And Sebastian's also not coming to Knoxville. He'll be in Clarksville. Right. That's the plan. So if we're looking at power rank teams, I like where your head's at there, Chad.
I love it. I love it. Yeah.
But for Knoxville, they're not in the roll call. Wait, I have some more teams I wanted to talk about.
Oh, excuse me.
Maybe. Just Daryl and Johnny. I already talked about them. It's fine.
Daryl Macon, Johnny Thomas. Yeah.
I like that team to make a run.
Phenomenal
I really
team.
do. Shannon Roberts, what's up? What up, Chase? Milk and bread, man. Are they stealing the milk and bread at the stores again?
Chase is in here. Chase isn't even on the roll call. What's going on, Chase?
No, Chase is skipping Knoxville, coming to Clarksville.
Okay. We'll see you in Clarksville.
Yeah.
Chase, I didn't see you sign up for the pre-party, though. That's another one I'd love to play
Chase,
with, although I can't throw fast bags.
But he comes in usually pretty late on Thursdays.
Yeah.
So it all depends on his work schedule.
Oh,
most
yeah,
likely.
yeah.
People got to work, Bill.
All right, singles. Phil took Caleb.
Yeah.
Absolutely solid. We saw him in Owensboro. Caleb's been insane on fire the entire season. Slowed down just a little bit in Owensboro. Just a little bit. I mean, you'd expect, him to win his bracket and move on.
Yeah.
Although Isaac is the one that won the bracket and moved on, and I believe won the whole thing.
Won
Pro
overall.
Series also.
Yes.
And won
Doubles.
doubles.
Yeah.
I went with Isaac on this one. He's one of those players, a little bit, I don't even want to say cold because he's thrown so well, although from his top, cooled off a little bit, right? And now he's back on it after Owensboro. That's why I picked Isaac.
I would say from Worlds to December, so we'll say 6 months, 5 months, we saw a different Isaac.
Right.
In Owensboro, if that Isaac Hurt continues to show up, he will be back to exactly where he was last year when it came into Worlds. A couple weeks ago, we saw him in his element. I mean, down 11-0 to Tyler Amos, stomped back and won 21-12. I mean, it's a 21-1 run against one of the best players in the world in Tyler Amos. And Tyler's somebody I want to talk about this weekend. He's not my pick only because I'm taking a risk on Braden Easterling here.
It's a risk.
like him.
Right.
I like his confidence. I think he's getting better every week. I think he's building confidence and he's learning about his game and learning about who he wants to be, right? And I like seeing that in somebody. Tyler could easily win this tournament. I just want to say that Tyler's on the radar, Craig Irvin on the radar, Brock Beasley obviously on the radar. Folks, we're going to have 4 brackets here again. So what's going to happen again, just like Owens Bros, there's going to be some stacked brackets, and there's going to be some sad people that should have made the playoff most likely if they were in a different bracket, but that's not going to happen.
I love that point that you're saying there because I based my pick off of, well, what if Isaac and Caleb are in the same bracket? That's how I thought about that before I made this pick because if they're in the same, only one of them's making it out to go to the championship. Although for our points, we don't really talk about that. But I think Isaac has got it. I think Caleb has won all the majors he needs to win this year. Although it would be nice to keep winning. But I think if Caleb and Isaac play against each other, I think Isaac's going to take it.
I think not even thinking about Caleb winning all the majors, I just think the way Isaac's playing right now is very possible to beat Caleb. Although I would still have Caleb as the number 1 power ranked player in singles today in the world.
I just based on the first few months of the season, 100%.
And he still took 4th in Owensboro. It's not like the guy took up 25th. You know what I mean? He's still up there, top tier, top tournament. No issues with Caleb Hurt taking a 4th, to be honest. You can't win them all, literally, unless you're the Hurts and you're playing doubles, because so far they've won them all. But I'm looking for Tyler and Craig to take them down this week. And moving into passion picks, folks. Passion pick, somebody we know, somebody we have a story with, can't be a pro. So it's like going out on a limb trying to get some extra points. Philip taking Lane McMullen. I think he's from his area. I don't know the backstory. I know Lane's name. I've seen him win some blind draws and some regionals and stuff like that. I don't know if I've seen him make a deep run in a major, but who knows?
I got Aaron Hill. One of my local buddies here, lives in Nashville, comes up all the time, supports us, plays with us, has a lot of our bags. Awesome dude. Can throw 9s. I think it's a solid pick. He could either show up and be cold and be in tier 2, tier 3, or he could show up and throw his normal and throw those 9s, and he could make it.
Yeah, he's a big time shot maker too. Good air mails, good push shots. He's got a little flop guy on him. That's
another one I would love to play the blind draw with at the X. I'd love to. Aaron Hill's just a great freaking guy. I have never seen him mad. Although, when he does get a little bit hammered, folks, and this is a little tip for everybody that's showing up to the pre-party, when he gets a little hammered, if there is a board open, go play cash games with him. You will smoke him, and you will make some cash. Let's go.
Yeah, he's not going to walk off on you, folks.
No, he ain't going to walk. He's going to play.
If you find Aaron Hill a little tipsy and you want to run some cash games, he's always down for cash games.
Dude, I love Aaron, man.
He really is. I'm taking Tyson Pack, man, an Ohio guy. He's placed high. He's won a doubles major this year. I'm not sure if that disqualifies him, Bill. I made sure to not tell you till right now. He has won a doubles major this year. He's had some good runs in singles. I look for him to make a good run this weekend. Man. Tyson's a good dude. He talks in the group chat that I'm in. I told him, I got you for passion. He said, let's go.
All right. It's fine. This 1 week you can do that. CAG, what is up? It is good to see you. I watched you on the ACL stream last weekend, dude. Looking good, big dog. Looking good.
Good job, CAG, making the stream out there, brother. Looking fantastic.
All right, these picks are now locked in.
Folks.
We are moving on, folks. We will be right back.
All right, here we go. Jack's
He made it.
hacks, the travel hacks, folks. So what we do here, Jack Hartcrow, man, he's a man to give you the best bang for your buck when you're traveling to an ACO major. He's been all around the country. I believe that he is a truck driver or was a truck driver, so he knows different areas very well.
Yep.
He also goes to just about every major around the country. He's been playing in the ACO for around 5 years. He knows the places to go. He's got us this week for Medford, Oregon. Take it off, Bill.
Okay, a little slideshow of the place. Oh, it started with the bathroom. There we go. We move right onto the pool. Lovely pool, although nobody's going to be enjoying that right now. So these pictures were obviously taken during a spring or a summer, or a little cloudy day, this and that. But we got the Motel 6. Got a little slideshow there.
Yeah.
All right, the Motel 6, I believe, was it North?
North, yeah.
North.
Motel
And
6,
this is
North Medford, Oregon.
This isn't Knoxville. This is Medford. Now, let's look at the good review. And I searched all the way back to 2018 to find the good review, Jack. Okay?
Jack.
This isn't that great. I had to, maybe this is August 2019.
Okay.
I had to search a ways to be able to find this. And it said, Motel 6 gave the Lost River Wildland Fire Crew great service. So this is probably when the fires were in the Smokies out there. That's how long ago this one was for this, okay? Thank you for making our checkout easy. Great rooms at a great price. If they're the fire crew, they probably didn't pay anything. They're paid to go out there and fight the fire.
Yeah.
Number one, so the great price. This seems a little fishy to me, and I had to go this far back. Anyway, all 20 of us were satisfied with our rooms. So once again, thanks.
There's no way that there's 20 people all with the 5-star review. If all 20 gave a review, Bill, would you agree that they all would give 5 stars? But we'll take it as it is.
Yeah,
Let's
we'll take it as it is.
20 people
Take it
completely
as it is.
satisfied. Firefighters 2019. Thank you for your cervix.
All right, let's get on to the bad review. And I can barely read this, folks. Let me expand it just a little bit here. Says, this is the 1-star. I always find the 5-star and I find the 1-star. 5-star took a while. This one's from June 2021. There were not many 1-stars either. Most of them were in about the 3 range. So I had to go back a couple years just to find this one. So I'm going to be fair on both sides here. Okay? Says, I have stayed at a lot of Motel 6s. This is a Motel 6 connoisseur named Salmon King. Salmon King. Excuse me.
Let's
Salmon.
go.
Yeah, whatever. Salmon King. In my time, most were decent, if a bit Spartan. I don't know what that means. I have no idea. This one much more resemble a jail cell, and the king-size bed about the same comfort level as a jail cell cot. I think this guy's been to jail before. I'm just guessing. I have no idea. To add insult to injury, the toilet was dirty and the seat was so loose that I nearly fell off. Don't know what that means. The room was so bad that we actually left without getting our money back and went next door to the Rogue Regency.
I've never heard of that.
Is that Rogue or Rouge?
I don't know.
Maybe they didn't put the little accent over the
The
E.
way it's spelled right now is Rogue. Rouge would have the U before the G, I think.
Well, I think it would have the little accent too if it was like
A little
Rouge.
fiong.
Yeah, like I think that's like a French thing. You know what I mean?
thought it was Mexican.
Maybe
It's called like a empanada.
But yeah. Is that what the accent is called?
Yeah.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
When you leave the room that's already paid for, that's really bad. So they had to emphasize that they didn't get their money back. They paid for nights and they went to a different hotel to pay for more nights somewhere else. The only upside was the person at the front desk was really nice. Unfortunate, that doesn't make up for the horrible property. I don't know. I read a bunch of reviews for this and tried to pick the 2. Reading all the reviews, I would say bring your firearm, take it out of your car, make sure it's in the room with you.
Yeah.
That's all I would say.
$96 for 2 nights, folks.
You can't beat that.
I mean, you could die, though.
Jack, I love it, brother.
All right, Jack, I mean, he even said in the chat, suck it up on this one. It's just 2 nights. You know what I mean? You're in Oregon. It's 3.3 miles away from the venue, 1 mile from the airport. So if you can't rent a car, you can also walk with your weapon. You know what I mean? I would stay armed the entire time on the way there, on the way back. But you don't need a car if you don't want one.
And folks, if you choose this place, let us know. Let us
Please.
know before you put a review up for them. Let us know so we can either get the approved stamp or the denied stamp for Jack's Hacks.
Yeah, and this
Okay.
is the Motel 6 North Medford, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Motel 6 North.
Motel 6 North Medford, folks. $96 for 2 nights. This is Jack's Hacks.
All right, moving on, folks. Here we go.
All right,
My phone is blowing up.
Yeah,
here.
can you shut that thing up, man?
I could probably do it. All right, folks. We'll be right on to the segment everybody's been waiting for.
Let's go. All right, what's up, folks? This is Family Feud. This is where we take a controversial topic, usually kind of like a current event, to be honest, and tonight follows suit with that somewhat. We know what's going on Facebook, folks. We're not exactly Facebook hawks, but people will message us. People will send us texts.
We are Facebook hawks, kind of, because we have to do the research to be able to make this show I don't want to say as entertaining, but maybe as informative as possible, with a little bit of entertainment too. Right? I think, what is that called? Is there a word that combines entertainment and informative?
No, I think it's just, I don't know, news.
Whoever's a wordsmith in here, please figure out that specific word. That's the word that I would like to use.
CNN. All right, David Reese is here. He's brought the popcorn for everybody, folks. And I mean, that's going to bring us into our topic, right? Which is, and honestly, folks, this is a good topic for us to talk about. You know, sponsorship and player relations. And we're seeing sponsorships being fairly new in the cornhole world, as well as
infotainment. I love it, dude. You guys are the best. You guys, 100%. This is the infotainment segment.
Love it. I love that.
It's great. I knew there was a wordsmith out there. 2 of them, perhaps, that gave us. Yeah,
Dustin and Dustin, Bill. Commented at the same time with infotainment.
Are they the same person? I know. I know they're not the same person, but that's crazy. That is crazy.
You can't be a passion pick because you're a pro. So lose your pro status.
Yeah,
so
lose
in a
your pro
years,
status. Bryce, I would have picked you. I would have picked you, but you have Bryce King on your picture, and I could have picked Bryce King as my passion pick.
Same.
I'm changing.
I don't know if he's
I'm not changing it. I'm not changing.
Okay, Bill. So sponsorship, player relations.
Okay, I'm gonna start us off just with a little bit into this. Right, there are 2 types that we want to talk about tonight, and we're not talking about any specific instance of this. Maybe we get a little targeted later, something like that. But I don't want to talk about any specific instance. So we have seen 3 people dropped from companies in the last month. I think either dropped or parted ways. We'll just say parted ways. So we want to take this from the perspective that, number 1, the bag company says, hey, we're no longer sponsoring you. We want to take it from number 2 that says the player, I don't want to be sponsored by you anymore, so I'm leaving you, right? So we got to be very careful about kind of what we talk about and how we structure this, because we want both of those perspectives to be said from the player and the bag sponsor relation. And there's going to be a lot of crossover with something like that, right? Because obviously either something went bad, or a player, I don't know, maybe found a better bag, maybe, I don't know, had a bad relation with that bag company.
Or got a better deal.
Maybe got a better deal from somebody else, which, let's actually start there. Let's talk about the deals for just a second. Because
that's fine.
In the past 2 months, and this is inside perspective on what we do as a bag business right now. In the last 2 months, we have had people approach our players that we sponsor, and approach some representatives that we have also, and tried to pull those people towards their side, right?
Yep.
And how would we feel about that? You know what I mean? You take it from there. So that's kind of the story behind what we kind of deal with once in a while as it is. Like, first, as a bag company, do we do that to other bag companies? And I would say I don't think that we ever have pursued people that are with other bag companies. Maybe we have a little bit.
I would say when we first are interested in somebody, one of the first questions I ask somebody is if they're in a contracted sponsorship. If they're in a contracted sponsorship, I don't touch them. You know what I mean? I decide, or we decide, whoever's talking to them.
It's more of a let me know.
Right.
When you're done with that contract. And then maybe we can talk.
But on the other hand of this, and what we've had to deal with, is these players will ask, will ask, can I buy your bags? Of course, I mean, we're never going to negate sales because somebody is sponsored by somebody else. You know, I mean, this is a business, folks, and I think everybody can agree on this fact right here. But I don't think I've never poached a team for anybody. We've never done that. But I know that there's been players that are sponsored by other people that buy our bags and then throw our bags, and then they're throwing CBC more than whatever they were throwing before. Where we put ourselves in a position where we don't influence anybody. Besides, we let the bags do the talking. You know what I mean? You guys see who we are once a week here on the podcast. We can't exactly hide who we are. We're on the broadcast multiple times a year. You know what I mean? So we're fairly transparent. So you know what you're getting from the company. If you like the bags, we want you to throw the bags, because if it makes you the best player you are, we'd love to have you.
Right. And I think from the perspective of the bag company to a different bag company that's currently sponsors that specific person that wanted to purchase our bags, if I ever got approached by somebody like that, my response would be, they bought our bags. I'm not going to deny a sale to somebody because they wanted a set of our bags, right? And that's where I would leave that conversation with any other bag company. I think that covers that specific topic, right? Like
100%.
If you're sponsored by somebody else, you want to get a set, sure, yeah, but we also wouldn't pursue that person, and we wouldn't like that, and we wouldn't try to make a contract with that person before they were out of a different contract.
Well, I can say confidently we have not signed another player since the season started, folks. Everybody we've signed has stayed on the team, and we have not signed another player since then. So we haven't lost anybody or gained anybody contracted on the CBC Pro or Elite team since the season started. There might be some things where we have some hearsay deals where, hey, I'll help you out when I can because somebody's throwing well or they're pushing bags well, and they go, hey, can you help me out with X, Y, Z? And we'll have a conversation with them and go, yeah, we can help you here, we can help you there, you've done this for us, we can do this for you. None of that's on paper, but, and we're also not trying to pull you away from other bag companies, but if you like our bags and you're doing something good for the company, if you're doing something good for Cornhole and your morals are in the right place, we're okay with helping you out.
Right. And I agree wholeheartedly with what Dylan just said. I think that's the way we try to approach it. We try to approach it with etiquette and not... I'm never going to call a player that is sponsored by somebody else and say, hey, have you tried my bags? I'll send you a few free sets. I'm never going to do that. It's not going to happen. I'd much rather a player approach us and say, hey, I've thrown your bags and I love these sets. This is what I do. This is what I can do. This is blah, blah, blah. Can we talk? Are you sponsored by somebody else currently? Yes. Well, we can talk after that's done. And that's what we would move on. I think that is the proper etiquette for a bag company with a different bag company or a sponsored player from some other bag company. But if they want to buy our bags at that specific time, I'm going to sell the bag. I mean, that is, I'm not going to say, no, I can't sell to you because you're sponsored by somebody. Like, that's never going to happen whatsoever. But we're a company. And okay, so we're done with that. I
want to read Craig's comment because I want to highlight just one thing in it. I want people to want to rep my company. Craig Collahar, folks, is the owner of TNT Bags. Great person. Him and Kayla do a great job. I just want to shout out TNT Bags.
I want
people, I want people to want to rep my company. I would never pursue a player that I know is already signed or committed. So my only issue with this comment is saying or committed. Because what does committed mean in the cornhole world? Does that mean the player has told me at some point, I'm going to throw your bags for the rest of the season? Because I'm telling you, if all you've done is tell that to me face to face, I honestly don't take it for anything. Because I know that you might get a deal, right, somewhere along. I don't think that you are disrespectful if you tell that to me or text it to me and then a few weeks later you're throwing something else. I'm not sitting here saying, oh, this guy screwed me over. You know what I mean?
No.
Unless but I also, with somebody that's just a face-to-face or a conversation, we haven't given that person free bags or free merch or free anything, because if you're just a hearsay relationship with CBC, then we just kind of help you out where we can, right? Maybe some discounts here. Oh, you need a t-shirt for the tournament. Here's a t-shirt. You know what I mean? Like little stuff. Yeah. Nowhere close to the same as a contracted player, and we haven't had a single issue with the contracted player. All we do is fulfill what we told them we would fulfill.
And that's what we try to do. So we'll talk about that later. I want to get into the other perspective. So that's one perspective right there, right? Like bag companies going after other players, stuff like that for sponsorship. So the next one I want to talk about is when a bag company drops a player. Okay. Why does that happen? How should it happen? And is that, I would say let's talk about the etiquette of that first. what are the reasons that a bag company would drop a player?
So what I would just go based off of what we've seen, right? Which I would say throwing in other companies' bags if you're a contracted player. I would say obscene behavior, and I would say any behavior that was to poorly represent the company.
Right. And that's a very important point there, is because as a sponsored player, you are representing the company that you are sponsored by.
Right.
And if the company doesn't want a specific look for the company, or bad representation that they deem as bad, even if maybe you don't deem it's bad or anything like that, I think that would be grounds to be like, hey, we got to part ways. But how does a company do that? And that's what we really want to get into this discussion, is how does a company say, hey, I want to part ways with you? There's numerous ways to do something like that. Number one, I would think that the company needs to be honest and transparent about what they want the look of that company up front.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And I also think that a big portion of this is being able to have conversations with your sponsored players as a company. That, hey, if you're uncomfortable with what's going on, please voice it with me and let's move forward in this in a positive manner, whether it is parting ways or not, right? Because we've seen it go both ways, right? Where somebody's parted with a company, it's been completely fine. They're still friends. They can hang out at the booth. No issues. You know what I mean?
Right.
And we've also seen it the opposite. Somebody parts ways with a company. There is a bunch of trash talk. There is a bunch of just issues between those two things. And I don't want to see it go like that ever. If
I
it was my
don't
opinion.
either.
But that it comes down, in my opinion, to communication with your players as a sponsor, and then as a player to your sponsor. This is a two-way street, folks. It shouldn't be your sponsor always helps you or you always only help your sponsor. This is a two-way street, and that's what we try to do our best at. And I mean, I'll give one example. When our players are going to a tournament, I've had multiple call me and go, hey, I don't have my bags with me. I'm coming straight from work. I might throw something else. I go, I appreciate the call. Don't worry about it. I hope you find some CBC bags, but I still hope you win the tournament.
Yeah.
And then it's done, because what that player's done now is communicate with me that, hey, something might be a little off.
This has happened, so that is the only reason I'm not throwing these bags, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that there's probably a million excuses. I like your excuse there, which was, hey, I'm just coming from work. I don't have my bags with me. I got to borrow somebody else's bags just to play in this tournament here. So I'm going to throw somebody else's bags. So unless I can find, the bags that I throw. And that is great. And that is being honest and transparent about something. That is a situation to where you probably won't ever get kicked out or unsponsored by a bag company doing something like that. But let's say you show up to a major and your sponsor pays for that entire major. Okay. Right? Pays for the entire thing. Like, maybe not hotel and things like that, but pays for, singles, doubles, co-ed, whatever it is, entry fees for a lot of this stuff, plus maybe a little bit of bonus money to hit podiums and maybe a little bit of swag to be able to wear if you make the stream, if something like that. And then all of a sudden, hey, you're throwing other bags.
It would be an issue, but I think
without
it would be,
telling, without saying
without
anything.
telling. It's just, I find it hard to drop somebody just on the spot, because I want to know what's going on, right? Because I don't think you have all the information by just going, hey, you're throwing somebody else's bags, you're disloyal to me, this is wrong, you're done. Because that's a one-sided conversation. What's happened? Why do you dislike the bags? Why are you throwing something else? For two reasons, right? I may still want to drop the player, but two, if I get this information back from this player, it could make me grow as a business person, as a sponsor, right? What did you not like about the bags? And they go, actually, it's the way you and I communicated, Dylan. You know what I mean? You were poor about it, and I don't feel good about that, so I want to go to a different company. I have to now take that and go, and most people will just go F you, right? They go, oh, F you, you're done, right? No, we got to take that and go, okay, so I need to work on something here because I'm losing players because of my own attitude, right? And now I've learned something by just communicating with the player what the issue was. I'm not saying they would still stay on the team, but the communication has to happen. I think it's the biggest portion.
That's okay. So when both of these situations that we talked about so far with, at the beginning, the bag sponsors trying to fight for different people or whatever, and then talking about maybe dropping a sponsored player from a bag company's perspective of this. I want to take kind of both perspectives of this and just say that the communication, what you were hitting on, is top notch. Absolute top notch. If let's say I paid for a sponsored player's entire freaking major to go there, and then they were on live stream not throwing the bags that we provided them for free also.
Yeah.
You know, it's something like that. We'll just say, this entire made-up story for that. That phone call that happened before those games, just to say, hey, this is the reason that this is going on, blah, blah, blah. All the difference in the world. After that game is done and somebody calls and says, hey, this is the reason, I don't know. After that's done, that's an issue. And this kind of goes back to what you titled this as, relationships.
Yeah,
right?
Relationships, absolutely.
A girlfriend-boyfriend, you have to think of a relationship like this as a girlfriend-boyfriend in high school.
Right.
You know what I mean? If somebody does something bad or that you take and you don't communicate that to your sponsor player, the sponsor player doesn't communicate that to the bag company that, hey, I felt like this at this time, or you did this and that made me feel like that. If that communication doesn't happen whatsoever, the next step for either that bag company or the sponsored player is to be like, oh, well, maybe I just won't pay for their tournament next time.
Right.
Or maybe I'll tell them this and then I won't do that. And maybe that sponsor player is like, oh, well, maybe I'll wear,
right.
a TNT
because
hat. I'm joking about that.
Right.
Because that communication on something that was probably stupid and simple never happened.
Right, somebody's bag's busted at a major or something. Now they have to throw something else. This is all
Right.
they have. You know what I mean? Let's say they get up to the board really quickly. They don't even have time to call me or something like that. They got to throw different bags. They throw different bags. Somebody comes up to me while the match is going on. Hey, why is Bear Paw throwing Luckies? And I can go, what? But my first thing is going to be what? My second thing is going to be something's happened that's not
Right.
good.
Right.
But this is just me also trusting our players. That they love the bags that they have. I do want to run through the chat real quick. There's a couple things that I looked at.
I'm sorry. Sometimes we riff a little bit and
this was
we'll
a question.
Into it,
So, what if the player gets in a slump and not playing well? Do companies drop them? Alan Ballard, the simple answer I'd say is no.
No.
You have told this player you're going to support them.
From our perspective, we made commitments at the beginning of the season and a little bit into the beginning of the season. Those commitments, and we tell every player that we have, we are going to honor those even if it tanks the company.
Yeah, we told him that. I mean, I'm not kidding. Told him that.
We had no idea if this would increase our sales or not increase our. We had no idea how this was going to affect our company whatsoever. But we told them, hey, our commitment we're going to make regardless. If we go out of business, we know our bags are good to throw for a year. If we go out, I'll make you whatever bags you want, and we're just out of business after that. And it is very expensive to do something like that.
A slump does not.
No.
I mean, we've had players that have had to take a couple months off for their own reasons. I checked on them. What's going on? Are you okay? You know what I mean? Everything was fine. You know what I mean? Everything was fine. No issues. We had no issues here at CBC with that. You know what I mean? People have life. Life is going to happen.
100%.
This is Cornhole, folks, and we love Cornhole, but life is going to happen.
And
sometimes.
I do want to put something out just for that. Sebastian Barger is in college. Mm-hmm. School first. 100%.
Brock Beasley.
If you ever get in a slump, we're not going to drop you because of a slump. School first. We are firm believers in stuff like that, and we knew that evaluating the people that we wanted to sponsor. We thought about their lives, what they do, how much they could play, things like 100%.
Yeah. Matthew Keg here asked, what about blind draws? Keg, we don't care about blind draws. Throw whatever bags you want. We honestly... doubles, doubles we're really not even worried about. I mean, in the contracts it states singles, man, regionals and majors. Throw our bags in singles. We're your sponsor.
Well,
we would prefer doubles.
It does
but
say
we
doubles.
know we have certain players like Scotty and Dustin, right? And they'll go back and forth. They throw more CBC than they do 157. But if they throw 157, we aren't over here mad. We know Dustin's relationship with 157. We have a great relationship with 157 and Dustin and Scotty. We have no issues there. You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, that's where blind draws.
I agree with that.
If people are getting, if your sponsors are mad at you for throwing something different in a blind draw, folks, look for the door. I'm just telling you.
And so Todd has a good point here, right? What if the sponsors treat you like kids? And that is something that I would argue is treating somebody like a kid when you play a blind draw and maybe you don't throw that bag's sponsors, you know, stuff there. That's something that you have to agree with the partner that you drew that is completely freaking random on the bags that you're going to be getting there.
Don't worry about blind draw.
That's something that, and I would argue that is treating your player like a kid. Like, hey, no, I sponsor you throwing my bags all the time, even in blind draw. That's ridiculous. What if there's a bag that you guys can agree on that's okay?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Then you're fine. I mean, folks, also, we're moving through the comments, so we will get to your comment. I know we have a bunch of new comments down here. We will get there. We're rolling through right now. So, Bryce King, sponsor players throwing different bags in quads. I don't mind, personally, about quads. I'd rather have as many teams as we possibly can. I think we make good enough bags to where anybody could quad up with our bags and do really well. As a sponsored player, go ahead.
I get a great note about this.
It's funny. This is Bryce King. Yeah, I mean, for obvious reasons with us, because he's throwing our bags in.
He's throwing our bags in quads.
Yeah.
So, I think it's a misnomer, and it presents it wrong when Bryce King titles it as quads, because it's not titled as quads. So, the ACO has I don't want to say pinned us against each other. Because because it's a fun thing. Quads
it's more
is a
like
lot
a
of fun.
It's a bragging rights thing.
But
right?
it's not called quads. It's called Bag Masters.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's tough to answer that because you're saying quads, and in quads, if we just went specifically off quads, I don't think anybody cares whatsoever. But they do title it as Bag Masters, which means if your bags win or your team CBC and you may be sponsored by a different team or something like that, that's completely dependent on the person that sponsors you is what I would say for that. If I don't think we would ever have an issue with our players throwing, you know what I mean, if some other team and they did it on their own volition to play with, I don't know, maybe we'll just say Lucky's bags or something like that.
I just want to butt in real quick though, and I really think that our players would come to us, and I'm not saying ask permission, but
it goes back to
is it cool?
Yeah.
Right? And they would just say, because that's the kind of relationship we have with our players. We're more friends than we are like there's no hierarchy. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, if anything, they're in charge. You know what I mean? The players are the ones putting the effort in on the boards, getting the wins. You know what I mean? Throwing the bags. But they go, hey, is it cool if I go throw on this ruthless team I didn't have anybody to throw with? I'd be like, hey, go ahead, have a good time. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, that would be how the conversation goes. But continue with where you're at, Bill, if you didn't lose it.
No, I would just say that since it is named Bagmasters Quads, that would be the communication. Exactly what Dylan was talking about. You have to communicate that to the person that is sponsoring you prior to playing that specific game. And you know what? Everybody's going to joke about it. Everybody's going to say, "Oh, what? You can't find a team with mine," or blah blah blah. You know, something like that. But it may hurt deep down in a bag maker's view. You know what I like? It may hurt us a little bit. But I don't think that that's something that I would stew about, and I don't think that that's something that I would care that much. I would actually, I don't know, if 4 players throw the exact same way and they love the exact same speeds of bags and stuff like that, bro, I want you to get out there and I want you to beat every other company.
I want you to win. You know what I mean? Like, we want our players to win.
Yeah.
You know,
I just that's a tough one. It is a tough one. It really is. But I think communication is key in something like that. I really do.
Yeah. So Todd Gammon, what if your sponsor makes you sign to say you won't bash them, also known as an NDA, folks? I'm guessing here. But then goes on Facebook and makes allegations against you is how we'll sum up that comment. And then we're gonna tag this comment on top of it, Bill. The sponsor also goes behind your back to knock you out of the running for state tournament rights after you ask them to go 50-50. So obviously, as most of us know, Todd has a serious bone in this fight. We don't have to beat around it too much, right? But
no, but I still don't want to call anybody out.
I don't either. I want to talk about it as objectively and as I don't know the word to say, as unbiased as we possibly can. If those things are happening, and also, you know, we're seeing one side of the story here, and obviously I know Todd really well. I trust everything he says for the most part. I've never been lied to by Todd or anybody else in that area. If people are treating you wrong, I'm glad you left. You know, if that's what's truly going on. And I hope that it's not. We don't want to see any sort of disrespect or negativity in the in the cornhole world, right? I mean, that's what we try to advocate: faith, family, four-baggers, right? And if we were to add another F, folks, it'd be fun. Yeah, I mean, if it was my opinion,
this would be my. This would be what I would do in a situation like that. Let's say a bag sponsor treated you like a kid. I don't know specific examples of what it was that maybe made you feel like that, or that they did. I have no idea. So I have to go up based off of not knowing the intricacies of something like this. But if I take the general overall that somebody was treating me like a kid that sponsored me, right? The first thing that I would do is communicate, and I would tell them straight up, and I would most likely be pretty aggressive in something like that. Aggressive or assertive, maybe. We could say assertive, not aggressive, because I don't want to disrespect somebody else and what I had to say, but I would want to let them know, right? I would say, hey, the things you have done, this, and this, make me feel like you're treating me like a kid. Number one, if this continues to happen, I'm no longer going to be representing your company.
Yeah.
Okay? I think that is the number one on something like that. And let's say that this continued, or it got to a point where it escalated so bad that maybe there's I don't know, that you have to back up what you said. I'm no longer going to represent your company, right? And you talk to them and you said, hey, don't forget.
I mean, there's a lot going on with this.
Okay, yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that in a minute. I think assertive is the best way to approach a situation like that.
I don't want to say be the aggressor, right? You don't want to be aggressive.
No,
right?
aggressive is disrespecting somebody else, and you don't want to do that.
You want to protect your rights, right? And you want to protect yourself,
and that is
as
assertive.
a person.
That is assertive.
I agree.
You want to protect your thoughts, feelings, your rights in a situation like this, and then maybe the route. And we'll say all the way to the right is aggressive here, and that's disrespecting somebody else. We'll say right in the middle is assertive, and that's where we want to be. And we'll say maybe it was approached all the way to the left, and that would be submissive.
You would say?
You're disrespecting yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're kind of sitting there.
Up for yourself.
You're not standing up for yourself. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, well, whatever this guy says, and you never really communicate your perspective on that.
It's like,
in an assertive manner.
It's like if there's a bully, right, and they keep bullying you, and you just keep trying to shake their hand and be nice to them, but they keep smacking your hand and smacking you in the face,
you're
right? And you're doing it over and
yeah.
over, like you're never trying a new route, right? Like we've done the passive route, we've done the take the higher road route. It's not working. Obviously, you got to change something, or you now will disrespect yourself and end up in a position you don't want to be in for a lot longer than you should have been.
Okay, I 100% agree. Let's say it left the realms of sponsorship and you split up because you just couldn't see eye to eye on any situation that happened, right? Let's just say, hey, I'm done. I can't take it anymore. We're freaking out. And let's say that maybe scheduling was one of those things that made it split apart, right?
Right.
Now what? You signed a non-disclosure agreement, or you signed some sort of document that said you will never represent that specific company in a bad light. What do you do?
So you obviously leave the company. You know what I mean? I'm just not a person that would bash somebody, right? I don't think it's the right way to go about things, and I try to take the high road. I mean, we're faith family four-baggers here, folks. You know what I mean? So what would Jesus do, right? If that ever enters my head first, you know what I mean? It would be to show the person through this adversity that I'm going to come out the other side better. It's going to be a longer road. You know what I mean? And you can apply this to almost anything, folks. And this is going to be really tough in situations like this.
But this person, right? you parted ways. You thought you did. We'll just say, and I don't know, we're making a whole made-up story.
Yeah.
But I tried everything on the best way. So we're just going to say that I tried to make it, hey, I signed that. I'm going to honor my agreements, and I'm going to sit here and do everything that I said that I was going to do, and be, you know, I just want to part ways, and I want to go my own way, and that's it. And I'm never going to talk about you, never going to do anything.
Yeah.
And then that sponsor may say bad things about you.
Yeah.
Now what?
To be honest, I mean, this is probably a little bit of an older version of Dylan speaking here, but I mean, it's time to let people know who the true colors of who that person may be, right? And I would say that's in personal conversations. I don't like blowing things up on social media personally, but I would say in private conversation, when people ask you what happened, I like to be honest about it. You know what I mean? And go, this is what I did wrong. This is what was done to me, and this is how I reacted to it. Because sometimes the way you reacted to it may not be the best way. Like I spoke of earlier, the best way, what would Jesus do, right? But there's other ways where you react to things that are also, I think, ethically and morally going to be accepted by society, right? But you have to be able to say, I had to do this because this person wronged me in this way in multiple occasions. And it was time for me to step up because I'd sat down, I'd laid in the corner for this long, and I waited, and I did everything I possibly could, and this person kept coming and coming and coming, and at one point, I had to get up, and I had to smack him in the face just once. You know what I mean? I had to let him know, I'm here. You know what I mean? I've been in this corner for a long time. You've been yelling at me for a long time. Today, I woke up. I chose violence. You know what I mean? Because of you pushed me here, you know? And I think sometimes that's going to happen. I don't think it should ever happen in Cornhole. I mean, I think that's ridiculous for things to get pushed in that manner. So but I don't think it's impossible.
What you're talking about is escalating it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And if we take it back to the very basics of all of this stuff is a relationship. It's a relationship between a sponsor player and a sponsor, right? And sometimes relationships freaking end bad. You know what I mean? I mean, sometimes they end bad, and there's nothing that these people can do to... They hate each other. They freaking hate each other. And I'm not saying any of this is happening with anybody in Cornhole whatsoever, but sometimes it just ends bad, and you gotta freaking pull the Band-Aid and be done with it.
Yeah.
Although I would say, if there is somebody, or you were friends at one point, and something happens to where you feel like you're being treated poorly, call them and talk it out. Even
what if they refuse to speak to you, Bill? Because I think that sometimes people would rather escape to social media and bash you, like we've seen happen, right? And if your sponsor or your player is bashing you on social media, and you guys haven't had a conversation in person first, then that person's just afraid to have that conversation. They're probably the ones who are wrong, right? Could we agree on that? That if you've tried to have the conversation...
we could say that, but that doesn't help the relationship between those two people.
True.
It doesn't, and that's what you're trying to get at. Yeah. Number one, if you just wanted to split from that company clean, and that company, let's say, doesn't say nice things, or whatever it may be, and you still want that clean break, doing something like that does not make that split more clean.
How do you make the split clean, though? If they're unable to communicate with you in a good way, they're turning to social media. Either side, I don't care if it's the player, I don't care if it's the sponsor. This could work both ways. I think that obviously the sponsor has more to lose in a situation like this.
I think so too.
Because the amount of questions you're going to receive, right? I mean, and if you're just saying no to the questions, the player is ready to give the information most of the time.
So as a company, us specifically that sponsor players, and we haven't been in a situation like this, I'm sure we will in the future. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. I don't know. But, as a company, it may fall into something like this to where it's just like, hey, we got to split up from this person, and maybe that person's hostile. I don't think our first reaction will ever to be hostile whatsoever. But I just can't think of a situation that we would be hostile towards a player for wanting to throw other bags or wanting to split. We would probably say, hey, good luck. You know what I mean? I think that's...
So what do you think?
I don't think we would ever bash a player. But if that company does, if you do, I would fully expect that player to bash you back. And then it's like I don't want to say a nuclear bomb, but it's self-destruction on both sides. Number one, it looks poorly with bad companies when I look out there and I'm like, oh man, this is such a good player, but they're bashing this company. Yeah. I would never want them to do that to me, but I also think it's terrible when it's like, oh man, that company is bashing this player. That's crazy to me because I never see myself in a situation like that. So both, it's like that nuclear button that you just freaking hit and it blows both of them up.
Yeah, I mean, we've had people interested in the company and we couldn't give them the deal that they wanted and they moved to another company. What did we tell those people? All of them. We wish you the best. I mean, thank you for everything you did for us, especially if they were with us beforehand. There's been multiple players like this, and never a contracted player. We've been really lucky. We also have a very small team, and we just give them what we told them we give them. It's been fairly simple, to be honest, folks. If you're a bag partner and if you make a contract with people, if you give them exactly what you told them you were going to give them, so far that has been very successful for us. That's my snippet there if I was to give a hint. If you tell somebody you're going to give them something, just give it to them. And like I said, we told them even if we went bankrupt, we would ensure that we were good on our end of things, even if it came out of pocket, which we're in a good spot. That's not going to happen as of right now. But with the face-to-face stuff, with the commitment, right? The verbal commitment, we've seen people come and go. It's happened. There's been a few.
A verbal commitment.
There's been a few.
And those things, I hope they just throw the best that they do. It's fine. It's fine. A contracted player that's sponsored, that we pay for events, I swear we have a contract for full seasons. And this is, again, into our inner workings and stuff like that. Probably shouldn't put it out there, but we will. We're very transparent about these things. Contracted player for a full season. Let's say that player came up to us after 5 months. It's like, man, I can't get the hang of these bags. I can't freaking throw them in the hole. I know that I've thrown, I don't know, B3's bags on this. And they're so good that if for my specific throw, they're going in the hole. I can't. I gotta go with them. They're offering the same deal as you, and I throw these bags better. We would probably sit there and be like, damn, can we mimic those bags? That would be our first thoughts, right? And that's probably what I'd say to that player. Give me 2 weeks, and I'm gonna make bags, and I'm gonna try to get them exactly how you like. If you don't like them, go for it. And I hope you play the. I think that's it. That's how we would approach something like that, as long as it was the same deal. Now, if somebody else offered a player, I don't know, thousands of dollars and this and that and blah blah blah, we'd be like, hey man, we thank you very much for throwing with us. We appreciate you.
You deserve it.
Have fun, and that's how we would approach something like that. But again, if you want to get down to the crux of this entire situation with all of these things, I would have to have that conversation, which means I have to communicate like that with our sponsored player or with the person that's sponsored. If that communication doesn't happen, there's no way to make right or wrong or who's this and who's that of any sort of situation.
You can't fix something you don't know anything about.
Right.
And with the bashing, I know a lot of this has been about people bashing each other. As a company, I don't think you could ever bash anybody, whether you're in the wrong, whether the player's in the wrong. I think that you're okay to have personal conversations with people that you trust.
Right.
And as a company, as a player, I think you can do whatever you want, to be honest, right? I really do. And that's kind of just the way of the world. You know what I mean? The business is more in the more vulnerable position in situations of these sponsorship breakups because you're not representing Dylan Ledbetter. CBC is not Dylan Ledbetter, right? CBC is CBC, and a bunch of people throw CBC bags, and CBC does a broadcast, and CBC does a podcast. So it's very different, and you have to, as a company, be able to have a bit of professionalism and transparency when moving through situations that may be tough to navigate. But I always think you should try to resolve the situation with the player, like we've talked about, as best as you can on the way out, regardless of your feelings of whatever that player did. That would be my advice on that. Like I said, we actually haven't dealt with it, so very, very lucky. But if we were to, we would try to make sure that player left happy and still in good spirits with CBC.
I would hope so, because number one, CBC is bigger than any, one of us anyway that work in it. And I don't want to tarnish the name over talking crap.
Right.
Like me as an individual talking crap to somebody else or treating somebody in a certain way that makes them feel like, I don't know, they're not a player or less than what they are and things like that. That I would never want something like that. And I would always think back to this isn't about me, it's about a company.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that company is trying to provide the absolute best for people, and maybe ours aren't best for that specific person.
Right.
And
that's going to happen. I think that's going to happen. And, Miguel, I think it's Sean right here, says everybody has different bags and every player has their preference. I would hope all bag makers are supporting each other. I want to make a statement about that, and Bill's actually going to make the statement. But, Bill, why don't you talk about the bag partner shot group from Owensboro so that you guys know the relationships of the bag partners. Well, I don't remember what you guys called it, Bill. I think it was the Bag Partner Shot Club or something like that.
This may happen again at some point. And I think we're going to be done after this because we're going on an hour 30. This may happen again at some point. But we had the Shot Club in Owensboro. And it was Gusto, CBC, Calahar's TNT got in there for a little bit. Ruthless is top dog in that thing. In my opinion, Ruthless is top dog in that thing. And I think that was all the companies. But we started a club to where when one bag company joined, they bought shots every time anybody wanted shots, this and that, until they could recruit another bag company into the shot club. The next day, we were all in the hydration club, and we were all in the I'm turning my shot club membership in. Yeah. I'm no longer a part of this. That's how bad.
I just wanted to say
so
the
much
relationship.
Fun.
The relationship of the bag partners. Us with Miggy boards.
So much fun with Ruthless, with Miggy, with literally everybody that was there. A lot of fun. Although we took it to the extreme.
You took it to the extreme. Folks, I missed out on most of this. Yeah, I don't know how Sean and Miguel missed out on the shot club. They must have been playing or something.
You don't want to, yeah.
Every time I came up, folks, I was actually out there working most likely. And probably not. But Bill's taking a shot with the bag partner shot club. It was fantastic to see.
We turned in our memberships after that. It was bad.
Yeah. But DJ did say earlier, folks, for the Clarksville Major coming up, there's only 8 spots left from what I've heard in the chat. So if that hits 64 and sells out, Miggy Boards Cornhole is also having one.
Oh, you're talking about pre-party, not the major.
Pre-party. I'm sorry, the pre-party. Yeah. But they're having a tournament as well. They're selling out at 50, folks. So 6 spots left in the Clarksville pre-party on Thursday night. So make sure you get in that one with Miggy. Folks, great conversation tonight.
Yeah, it was. It was.
I think all in all, folks, if you were to take something down from it's communication, man. If you're a sponsor, if you're a player, this road goes both ways. If you're the player and you think the sponsor should always reach out to you, I think you're wrong to think that. And if you're 100%. The sponsor and thinks the player should always reach out to you, I think you're also wrong to think that. We have a group chat, folks, and this is another snippet. Go ahead. You know what I mean? Yeah. Write it down. Get your notebook out. We've been handing them out all night. Yeah. But we have a group chat with our players, our sponsored players, and also not even all of them are sponsored. Some of them are just the hearsay sponsorships that we've talked about, but they're supporters of CBC. They're good players. We have fun conversations with them. And we just talk in there, and then they'll message us outside of it. Sometimes, hey, I need XYZ set. Okay, let's make it happen. Yep. You know what I mean? And, hey, this didn't work for me this weekend, or, hey, look at this shot right here. Look at my PPRs this week. We're having these small conversations with our players all the time, and we're just showing them we care about them. They're showing us they care about what we think. You know what I mean? It's awesome.
Sometimes we all watch ACL together, or we just talk about people's shots. But we're active in that community. We want everybody to be. They know that we're 100% approachable on anything whatsoever, and we'd love to talk about this stuff and maybe even talk a little smack once in a while.
We do talk a little smack.
Folks, I want to leave you with just a couple things here. I wrote some notes early. I didn't get through all these notes, but for sponsorships from bag companies and players, right? If you're going to leave your sponsor, right? If you have a sponsor that you want to leave, be honest, be transparent about why, all right? May or may not work, I have no idea, but it would be better if there was notice given. It's kind of like a job, right? If there was notice given like, hey, I'm going to throw for you at this major, and I know you're paying for that, but after this major, I'm going to part ways because, I'm going to find new bags. I have a couple weeks before the next bag. Well, whatever it may be, but give the notice, offer an explanation for it, You know what I mean? Hey, I'm leaving because these things happened and I felt like I was in a bad situation and I didn't want these things to happen to me. And then also be respectful. And the reason why you do it in a specific order like that, or the reason why you would do it as nice as that, as long as that bad company wasn't hostile, is because, number one, you don't want to burn bridges. Next year, that bad company may come out with a bag that you absolutely love. They may be so big that you're like, damn, man, I should have been better at these. Something like whatever could happen, but both bridges aren't burned. You can still see each other. You're going to see each other at all these other majors, regionals, state tournaments, things like that. A lot of things. To where it doesn't need to be awkward if something like that happens, right? Now, if you have a hostile sponsor, personally, I would avoid escalating that conversation. Right? I mean, that's the first thing. If they are hostile to me, I would be assertive, like we talked about, but I would avoid escalating that conversation. Like, if you're going to do this, I'm going to do that. Well, if you're going to do that, I'm going to do it. And then it's one on top of the. I mean, you just keep stacking up to where it's self-destruction for both. Although I think the bad company would be the absolute worst in that. If it does get that bad though, I would document a lot of it.
Document it. I mean, I like that topic a lot.
I would sit there and I would take screenshots. I would document it. I'd be like, this is just so you know, or in your back pocket when you're being that assertive person, you have those conversations, you have those things that may have happened to you that say, hey, I'm not a crazy person here. You know what I mean? This is what actually happened, and I know I've been saying it on social media, but here's the proof. Like, I like that's that nuclear option. That's that option that you're gonna get crazy with. Although, if they are so hostile to where you can't recover from something, you have it documented. You can share your side of the story. I think that is very important. Last one, again, that assertive communication with that documentation, I think you're good to go.
Yeah. I think the last thing I would say, the only thing that I would say, communication is key. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And making sure that you're showing love in the community is key, man. None of us are perfect. You know what I mean? I've made mistakes. Bill's made mistakes. The difference is that we like to take accountability for those mistakes. We do it in the shop.
We try to.
Right, we do it in the shop.
We got to keep each other accountable sometimes, because sometimes you'll make that excuse, right?
It's so easy.
It's so easy. And we try to keep each other accountable for these things. And we know in our souls that it improves us. You know what I mean? Like it does. It
having the hard conversations, being accountable for your mistakes, being able to have the hard conversations with people you don't want to have are only going to make us grow, folks. And if any of you guys follow Bill and I, well, if you guys know Bill and I, you guys know we live by these standards. We actually do. Bill is not active on any sort of social media, but if you met him in person, and if you've seen my Facebook, if you know the kind of people I would hang around, it's people that are accountable for their actions, and Bill's one of them, I'm one of them. CBC does its very best to ensure that our communication is key, and we're transparent, and we're accountable for everything that we possibly could be. And we're just trying to bring y'all the best bags, the best broadcasts, the best podcasts that we possibly can. It's been a good night,
Let's
folks.
get the hell out of here.
Yeah, let's
get a hey, folks. I hope you had a good time. I had a freaking great time.
Man.
It's been one. I know we went crazy. It's been a long freaking stream, but you know what? It's great to see you guys. It's been wonderful. I think we're getting out of here. That's our social media. Say hi.
We will see you guys in Knoxville, man. Let's freaking go. We're broadcasting Knoxville, folks. We are the center court. The CBC Center Court.
So
folks.
Excited about this.
Gosh,
so excited.
Dang, man. We leave tomorrow, folks. Literally, it's tomorrow.
I know. Oh,
we'll see y'all there, man. 350 players. Y'all bring your best. Let's freaking get it.
Right after our day job.
Right after the day job, man.
Dude. Hey,
come on.
If you're in here and you're going to be a freaking Knoxville, bring your A game. We did not have a shot reel for Owensboro. We will get that, and we're going to air that for about 2 weeks, and then we're switching to the Knoxville
We might have
shot
to do a
show.
mashup.
If you want to be in the shot show at the beginning of our freaking stream, show out.
Show out, folks.
Show
Come on.
out. Let's go.
Hey, good luck, everybody. This is CBC.
Out.